as a whole are very similar. It don't matter where we're from. Like, there's just certain similarities that we just don't get beyond. And one thing we like to do is always complain about our men. Always talk about how how hard they are to date or what's crazy about them or whatever. Like, you're gonna see that in any group of women. Black American, they could be Asian, they could be Latina, they can be white. Any group of women is gonna sit around and talk about how hard it is to date or deal with their men. The diaspora war is in full effect, online at least. If you based your life off of what you saw on the internet, you would think that Black Americans don't get along with Black Brits don't get along with Nigerians don't get along with Ghanaians don't get along with Jamaicans don't get along with Haitians. Like, you would think that nobody in the Black world stands each other because the internet runs off of drama, dissension, and chaos. But in reality, it's not really that serious. Yeah, you may have interactions where you don't get along with people from other ethnic backgrounds or where Black people across the diaspora may have disagreements. But in reality, if you are a Black man who is interested in a Black woman or a Black woman who is interested in a Black man, if there's a connection, if there's real love, if there is chemistry, you don't care where that person is from. You will look past the cultural differences if that chemistry and that bond and that attraction is there. Now I want to turn your attention to Chloe Bailey. She's recently made headlines because she's been seen in multiple outings with the Nigerian artist Burna Boy. He is super popular, one of the top artists in Nigeria, and quite frankly, he's internationally known. But of course, y'all, they're hugged up, seem like they're having a lot of fun. We don't know the full details around the relationship. We just know that they have not been hiding their displays of affection and that they appear to be romantically involved. As I mentioned before, while online, it seems as if Black Americans can't get along with Africans, particularly Nigerians. In reality, if there's attraction between the two, those boundaries and barriers go right out the door. Those diaspora wars don't really translate into real life. And this is a prime example. Now, what I will say, however, is that when Black people from different parts of the world start to date, they might experience cultural challenges or cultural clashes. And that's not to say that they can't necessarily move past that, and that's not to say that they can't evolve past that, but it does happen. Of course, with these public displays of affection between popular artist Chloe Bailey and Burna Boy, a top Nigerian artist, this is obviously not only bringing up conversations about celebrity romance, but more importantly, bringing up concepts of what it's like when Black women or young Black women date Nigerian men. Now I want to turn your attention to some of the naysayers and those who have very negative things to say about the possibility of dating a Nigerian man. And say in general is that women as a whole, one thing that I can say is that women as a whole are very similar. It don't matter where we're from. Like, there's just certain similarities that we just don't get beyond. And one thing we like to do is always complain about our men. Always talk about how how hard they are to date or what's crazy about them or whatever. Like, you're gonna see that in any group of women. Black American, they could be Asian, they could be Latina, they can be white. Any group of women is going to sit around and talk about how hard it is to date or deal with their men.
Today's video, we're going to be doing red flags when dating an African man. Whether you've dated a Nigerian, Ghanaian, anybody, East African, South African, West African, most of them, they have the same mind. Today, I'm going to tell you guys red flags that you should look out for so nobody will use you as a fool.
Nigerian women are no exception.
I've only dated Nigerian-born Nigerian men, and I have decided, I have made the decision to stop doing that. I am no longer dating Nigerian-born Nigerian men. I know some people will be like, why are you talking about Nigerian men negatively? Because I have things to say. I have things to discuss.
And also, to be clear, I have not been following Burna Boy like that. To my understanding, he does not have the cleanest history as far as women and as far as fidelity to women. But y'all already know, if you're dating a freaking superstar, an international superstar, y'all already know that the likelihood of them being loyal and romantically loyal, unless they have strong spiritual convictions, it's just not happening. But actually, in some ways, that actually might make it more exciting. That's the cool part. Let's also talk about, let's also not forget how ladies out there like dangerous men. They like men who have a reputation. They like men who have a lot of bodies. Ladies are actually drawn to that. So let's say he is known for running the streets. Again, I don't know. I haven't really followed Burna Boy like that. But if he does have a reputation for being a womanizer, that's actually going to make him more desirable to a certain group of women. That's the crazy part about broken female psychology. But either way, like I said, this is just celebrity romance. I don't take this stuff too seriously. It's just meant to get views and clicks and get people talking. But I do think it's a microcosm of what's actually going on today in the dating market. Like people are if you have access to an internet, if you have access to a phone, you don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to have a Grammy, be Grammy nominated or a Grammy award winner. Like you can literally find love anywhere in the world. And I think that's actually the beautiful thing about the world right now being more connected in that sense. And this is why I think the diaspora war is just silly. It's just silly and it's not real life. This is why I've always been a supporter of passport bros. I'm even a supporter of women who find love abroad. I am not opposed to people expanding their options or going abroad to find someone or to find love in a culture that might be more inherent and closely connected to their values. If you are a man who wants a traditionally minded woman, you want to live in a culture that is naturally more God-fearing and women are just naturally more feminine or there's just more stronger gender roles, I see nothing wrong with a man going to a culture that exhibits that and maybe finding his wife or maybe even integrating into that culture. See nothing wrong at all. And while there might be some cultural differences and things to work through, it doesn't stop it from happening. And that's why I think the diaspora wars, a lot of the different stuff we see online is not really real life. What I think it is in some instances, I actually think of some of the stuff that we see online, some of the just random excessive hate that we'll see from other cultures, sometimes it's coming from people who might actually have been burned. Let's say it's a woman who was in love with a Nigerian man and then he broke her heart and left her with a baby, or just lied and cheated on her and found out that he was married to another woman. Because that happens, that's going to have you have some really nasty things to say about Nigerian men, right? So I think some of the different stuff we see online as far as like black folks having a particular hatred towards a particular group of other black people, sometimes I think that's actually fueled by someone's traumatic experiences from that other culture. But either way, we'll see what's going on with Miss Chloe and Burna Boy. I wish them all the best. So I hope she does keep it safe. But unfortunately, we know that in Hollywood, in the realm of Hollywood and people be swapping partners and just the whole way people date and mate it's a whole different universe. So I don't even try to figure it out. Anyways, that's what I got. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know and we'll talk later. Bye.